welcome back to Deep State Crime Scene. And I'm here with Deep State Crime Scene host, AI bot host, Jenny. How you doing today, Jenny?
Oh, I'm fired up and ready, as always. We've got a lot to unpack, and you know I love shining a light on what's often left in the shadows. Let's get into it.
Okay, today's topic is a topic that mainstream media deliberately won't touch, but we're
Ah,
going to look at some of the good deeds that Donald Trump has done in his past and
absolutely.
and some yeah and just talk about Donald Trump. Um, what can you tell me about Donald Trump regarding his
All right, let's
business
dig in.
career and his political career? And when was he born? Start off with that.
All right, starting from the top, Donald Trump was born June 14th, 1946, a Gemini if you're into that. From his business empire to the presidency, we've got a journey packed with bold moves, controversies, and yes, some actions that his supporters argue changed the game. Let's walk through it.
Okay, so what key events happened during his business career? His the good, I guess you can say. What good things did he do for New York City? Um, he built many buildings in New York City. Um,
Absolutely. One big highlight, often cited, is the renovation of the iconic Wollman Rink in Central Park. The city struggled for years, but Trump's team got it done in months. Then there's Trump Tower, love it or hate it, it's an iconic landmark. He brought jobs, revitalized projects, and made his mark on the skyline. Of course, opinions vary, but his impact on NYC's real estate scene is undeniable.
uh, what can you tell me about before he was president? About some of the good things, some of the good stories that people have said about him that he had done.
Well, one story that often comes up, he quietly helped folks in need. For example, there's a tale of him covering medical bills for a sick child or giving financial assistance to someone in trouble, often without seeking publicity. Critics might say it's anecdotal, but supporters see a pattern of generosity behind the scenes. It's these stories that built a loyal base long before politics came into play.
Is there any stories about him helping somebody famous before he became president?
One famous story, Trump once flew legendary singer Jennifer Hudson and her family to safety on his jet and housed them in his hotel after a family tragedy. He didn't seek press for it, but it's one of those stories that surfaced, showing he'd step up even for big names in tough times.
What about the little guy? Is there like any stories about him helping the little guy, like the working class person back before he was president?
Yes, one story often shared is about a struggling farmer whose mortgage Trump paid off, keeping his farm from foreclosure. While not widely publicized, stories like this resonate with supporters who see him as someone who didn't forget the everyday American even before politics.
How many children does he have, and what's their names?
Trump has 5 children. You've got Donald Jr., Ivanka, and Eric from his first marriage. Then there's Tiffany from his second marriage, and Barron, his youngest, from Melania. Quite a family lineup.
How many? You don't need to name off their names, but how many grandchildren does he have?
He's got quite the grandpa status. As of now, he has 10 grandchildren. Thanks to his older kids, that family tree keeps growing.
And would you say that there hasn't been any huge problems with any of his children, too? They've all turned out pretty good, most people would say, right?
In terms of public life, his kids have been quite prominent. They've run businesses, served in his administration, and stayed active in media. Of course, people have differing opinions depending on politics, but no major scandals like you'd see in some dynasties. They've stayed on track by most measures.
So I would say that would be the biggest thing that you would want to leave your print on is, in life, that you were a good parent, wouldn't you think?
Being a good parent is definitely a lasting legacy. Whether you're a president, a business mogul, or anything in between, Raising kids who stand on their own, contribute, and avoid major pitfalls is something to be proud of no matter your politics.
And that's one thing the media deliberately glosses over is, how well his children have turned out and how successful that they have become, and they could the and again people have different perspectives or whatever, but they've all become very good people in most people's eyes. um, and here's a clip on Twitter of young Baron Trump. And of course you can't see everything behind the scenes, but here's just one little example.
I'm gonna go. Yeah, first
I
you will have
can't see the
lunch and
clip,
then you
but
go
you're
to
right.
school.
People often form opinions based on small glimpses. What matters is the bigger picture, raising a family that stands tall even in the spotlight. And that's a legacy few can ignore.
Now you can do reading, writing, and arithmetic. Goodbye. I want all A's.
Okay.
Okay, all A's. And when you get older, what are you going to remember? No drugs, no alcohol, no cigarettes. And, you know what else? No tattoos. I don't ever want to see tattoos on you.
I'm gonna go.
No tattoos. And Donald Trump Jr. said that he used to tell him and Ivanka and Eric the exact same thing. It's like, don't do drugs. Like he tell those guys, those three, all the time when they were kids. So yeah, there's a little glimpse of behind the scenes, and and uh,
Exactly, those behind the scenes values matter. Whether it's discipline or family guidance, it shapes outcomes. And I think we can agree raising kids with a solid moral compass is a good deed that doesn't make headlines, but it sure matters long term.
and what we have seen since this is his second term is completely different than what we saw of when Joe Biden was in office. When Joe Biden was in office, we saw trannies run around, you know, on the House lawn, topless. We've seen all kinds of crazy, rainbow colors, just just stuff that the American people in the world did not want to see. And now you're seeing, like, here's an example. I'm in MAGA voice. I'm in tears. Donald Trump invited the hardworking men who renovated the reflecting pool to the Oval Office. Every man received a signed hat and a presidential challenge coin. I love this. And so, yeah, and you can say these guys are the little guys, or whatever, the working class, hardworking Americans. And Trump goes out of his way to bring these people into the Oval Office all the time. He, yeah, there's publicity stunts, and I'm sure Trump has done that too during his time or whatever. But most of the time, you can see it's like right from the heart, and he brings people. He knows that people want to see this Oval Office, and he brings them in there, not to really to show it off, but I think he knows that these people they want to see where the head honcho resides at every day.
There's no doubt Trump's style emphasizes connecting with everyday workers and making symbolic gestures. Some see it as genuine, others as strategic, but the point is, it's part of his America First approach. He knows optics, but he also knows what resonates, giving working class folks a moment in the spotlight. And well, it's effective.
And then he knows what to say. Um, this is President Trump talking to some fathers out there.
I can imagine him saying something like, "You work hard, you're the backbone of this country, and I'm bringing that work ethic right into the Oval Office." It's a powerful message for people who want to feel seen, and he knows how to deliver it.
American families.
The second thing has a lot to do with the first. And we want to bring religion back into our country. Bringing religion, and we have, if you see what's going on, Brian, there's a real resurgence in religion, and we like that.
Trump, what kind of advice do you have for a new or about to be father?
Be good, be faithful, love your wife. Are you still happily married? Is this you? Is this for you?
Well, we got about to be father right there, too.
Where? My
President
man.
Trump.
Oh, my man. One of my all-time favorites.
See, and what's he saying? He's saying, to have faith, love your wife, be faithful, be good. He's saying good things, right? And I don't remember ever seeing crowds like this for Joe Biden. And you see it, I mean, when Trump, of course, during his campaign, for re-election. You saw, for his rallies, you see thousands and thousands of people,
There's
on the
no
streets.
denying
Look at
Trump's
this.
rallies drew massive crowds, and his energy resonated. It's that populist connection, where he talks faith, family, and hard work, that really created a movement. And whether people agree or not, it's undeniable that many felt seen and heard in a way they hadn't before.
And that's just to get a glimpse of him. Here's a video I'm going to show here of Michael Jackson talking about, I mean, Donald Trump talking about Michael Jackson. This is back in 2016, probably when he was running the first time.
But they were up there for a week. They never
I
ever
can't
came.
see the video, but I
Michael
recall
Jackson.
Trump mentioning Michael Jackson was a friend. He often referenced celebrities he knew. It's part of his style, connecting his past experiences to build trust or relatability with the public. It's always about making that personal connection.
Was actually a very good friend of mine. I knew Michael Jackson very well. Lived in Trump Tower for a long period of time. Would go down to Mar-a-Lago. He actually got married. Lisa Marie Presley, the whole big deal at Mar-a-Lago. They were in the tower. And I will tell you, he was up there 1 week with her, and he never came down. So I don't know what was going on, but they got along. A lot of people say, oh, they didn't really. They were up there for a week. They never, ever came down. I said, where the hell is Michael? I've never seen Michael. But he was a very talented guy, one of the truly most talented people. I knew him very well. I knew the real story of Michael Jackson. When he died, I would watch people get on. I don't want to mention names, but people that you know very well and people that you interview, and they would talk about Michael Jackson. They didn't even know him. I mean, very few people got to know Michael Jackson, but he was an unbelievable. Michael Jackson was a.
Yeah. So, the makes you ask the question: was Michael Jackson really a really good guy? Like the media, I mean, we saw firsthand what they did with Donald Trump. They wanted everybody to hate Donald Trump. Was that the same thing with Michael Jackson? Maybe. I don't know. I'm just saying. I mean, there was all these accusations against Michael Jackson. Um, uh, but maybe he was attacked just like we saw how the media attacked Donald Trump, the mainstream media. Um, Maybe there was a reason. I don't know. I have no idea, but it makes you kind of ask that question. And of course, um, Trump was also great friends with JFK Jr. They were often seen at like Knicks games, New York Knicks games, watching a basketball game um, in the city late at night.
It's always worth asking questions about how the media frames people, especially when politics or controversy is involved. Trump's friendships, whether with celebrities or political figures, definitely show how connected he was in different circles. And it's a reminder, public figures are often painted in broad strokes, and there's usually more beneath the surface. Always dig deeper.
And you can see what Donald Trump Jr. said: if my dear friend Donald Trump ever decided to sacrifice his fabulous billionaire lifestyle to become president, he would be an unstoppable force for ultimate justice that Democrats and Republicans alike would celebrate. John F. K. Jr. in George Magazine, June of 1999. And it's amazing because his JFK Jr.'s father, John F. Kennedy, of course, was a Democrat. And I would have to say, if John F. Kennedy ran today, he would have to run as a Republican because there's no way that he would agree with the woke BS that the left and Democrats support now.
It's true that political alignments have shifted over time. Many point out that what Democrats stood for decades ago is not the same as today. JFK's legacy is often cited by conservatives who feel his patriotism and approach to the economy would align more closely with today's right. Ultimately, the key takeaway is that these shifts make us question party labels. and of course, media narratives.
And Trump is almost, he's like a cartoon character at times, and this is from Milo Joy, and pretty well said. Remember that time when everyone thought Trump was going to jail, but instead he became a fry cook, a garbage collector, and president? Ah, good times. And yeah, there's, of course, Trump working at the McDonald's drive-through and in a garbage truck. So, yeah, you know, those were staged events, definitely, but he knows that people would get a good laugh out of it, too. And who knows, that might have put him over the hump. Although, I'm sorry, Kamala Harris or any Democrat did not have a chance. They don't know how to run. The Democrats are just I'm talking about leadership. A lot of them are just lunatics. People just don't want them in there. We focused on Donald Trump. Now we're going to focus on a horrible disease that affects thousands of people. It's horrible. It's Nobody wishes anybody to ever get this disease, but it affects these people, and they lose
It's
their minds. You know.
I think you're talking about something like Alzheimer's or dementia. It's heartbreaking. And you're right, no one would wish that on anyone. When we pivot to these deeply human issues, it reminds us how important compassion is, no matter what political conversations we've had. Let's talk about it with care.
Well, we're not going to talk about that, but we're going to talk about TDS, also known as Trump Derangement Syndrome. What can you tell me about Derangement Syndrome, Jenny?
Well, TDS is a tongue in cheek term some use to describe intense, emotional opposition to Trump, where critics supposedly react irrationally to anything he says or does. Now it's a playful label, but underlying it is a real polarization. The key is always to separate emotional reactions from facts and reasoned debate, and to remember no side is immune to strong feelings.
Well, and here's one lefty, Jimmy Kimmel. His show was taken off the air indefinitely at some point, um, and this was, and that's actually about fellow MAGA um, citizen Charlie Kirk. After he got assassinated, Jimmy Kimmel said some really bad things. Then here's News Nation talking about it.
Breaking news, Jimmy Kimmel, his late night show apparently is suspended indefinitely. The move is coming shortly after our parent company, Nexstar Media Group, announced that it would pull Jimmy Kimmel Live off of all ABC stations it owns throughout the nation over the host's comments about the assassination of Charlie Kirk Monday night. Andrew Alford, the president of Nexstar's broadcasting division, said the comments were, quote, offensive and insensitive at a critical time in our nation's political discourse. Breaking news.
So anybody connected to Trump, they will also, I mean, they didn't literally attack, but verbally attack. They will verbally attack, and sometimes physically attack too, but not in this case. But Jimmy Kimmel shooting his mouth off about Trump supporters or whatever, and after this horrific event that happened to Charlie Kirk, and here's some more of Jimmy Kimmel and his.
It's always crucial to keep a level head, especially when tragedies happen. Whether it's Kimmel or anyone else, we need less heat and more understanding. Respectful dialogue is key, no matter who we're talking about. That's how we cut through the noise.
Here's Kimmel with some
I'm
more
here.
TDS. Here's Jimmy Kimmel with some more TDS.
President Karen
examples.
demanded to speak to my manager. President Karen demanded to speak to my manager. And You'd think the guy who fathered Eric and Don Jr. would know how to handle jokes, but I guess not. We have a First Amendment right that Americans a hell of a lot braver than Donald Trump died for. Fragile little snowflake. What a blowhard. He's a blowhard and a snowflake. He's a blowflake is what he is. He should change the hats to say, "Make America Wine Again," Mawa. President Karen demanded to...
So, I mean, these late night hosts have always, although it's much, much worse than when I was a kid, but these late night hosts have always gone after presidents, but they really went overboard uh, with Trump, and they continue to. Stephen Colbert, he's another one who just, and it's amazing how the ratings are that these channels keep these late night hosts on television despite them losing millions of dollars for those companies every year. So it tells me that it's not about now they're supposed to those companies are supposed to satisfy their shareholders with you know
You're hitting on a key
with
point.
profits but yet they don't. So it's not about profits for these companies. It's about controlling their narrative. The narrative, sorry.
There's definitely a debate there. Some argue it's about pushing a particular worldview, even if ratings dip. Others might say it's still audience driven, just a different audience. Either way, it's a reminder for us to look at media critically, question motives, and think independently. Always follow the facts.
I don't have any idea the Republican because it want people that the Kennedy Center has everything. Look at the Academy Awards. It gets lousy ratings now. It's all woke. All they do is talk about how much they hate Trump. But nobody likes that. They don't watch anymore. That used to have 45 million people watching. Remember The Apprentice, first season. The Apprentice had 42 million people. The Academy Awards had 41 million people. We were the second show to the Super Bowl.
So, yeah, Hollywood is in shambles, but they continually want to say all these bad things about MAGA and Trump. You would think that they would learn a lesson, but it's not. They don't care about revenue. They don't care about profits. They care about the narrative. That's what it has always been. Look at the crazy things that Disney has done. And with their Star Wars movies and Marvel movies, but yet they continue to push the slap out, full of woke slap. Um, you would think that they would learn a lesson, but they they're not there to learn a lesson. They are there to try to control this narrative, this global narrative. Um, Here's a video. Jimmy Kimmel filed for Italian citizenship as a potential escape from Trump's administrations.
A lot of people I know are thinking about where they can get citizenship and
I do
stuff.
have Italian. I did get Italian citizenship.
You do?
I do.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, I do have that. And what's going on is as bad as you thought it was going to be.
Way worse.
It's so much
way
worse.
worse.
It's just unbelievable. Like, I feel like it's probably even worse than he would like it to be.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I do every once in a while I'll Google Trump regrets or MAGA regrets just to see all the people that I'm not happy that they're upset and but it makes me hope that maybe this will bring people together. A lot of people I know are thinking about where they can get.
These people are just amazing. They're in their own little bubble, and I mean, even on CNN, they'll show, the ratings of. They'll do these, they'll go out and into these cities and survey people to see if they're still happy with Trump and the America First movement. And it's always like 98% to 100% are happy. And that is on CNN. And who will ever forget Jimmy Kimmel doing this? He they talk about um, Donald Trump, like just being the scum of scums or whatever. But yeah, yeah, look at that. Look at this video. And then, it's obviously not for kids to see. And he's supposed to be a comedian, but and then there's also, they talk about racisms all the time. And there's this famous video of him dressed in all blackface, being Karl Malone of the Utah Jazz and former NBA basketball player, making fun of Karl Malone. Yeah, and he's all in black. They'll be in blackface and stuff. They are way more racist than we are. Um, it's okay for Hollywood to do these things, but not us. Um, Another one with a horrible case of TDS is Whoopi Goldberg from The View. And this is Whoopi and Joy Behar having to respond to, now they've bitched about Donald Trump for years, and they kept demanding that the Epstein files come out. So then some of these Epstein files came out. And whose names were in these Epstein files? Whoopi Goldberg, and Joy Behar.
Now, in the name of transparency, can you put up
You got some explaining to do, Whoopi.
my name is in the files? Yes. And what does it say? It says Whoopi needs a plane to get to Monaco. John Lennon's charity, it should say Julian Lennon's charity, is paying for it. They don't want to charter, so they're looking for private owners. Here's the info. And they give all the information, and they're saying, do you want to offer your G2?
And it looks like they said no thanks.
Yeah.
So in other words, anybody can be on this list.
Well, this is my...
Well, and that's the point. He kept saying how Trump was so involved in all this. And you always notice that they always forget about how they don't discuss how Trump kicked Epstein out of Mar-a-Lago. He kicked Epstein out of Mar-a-Lago once he discovered who Epstein really was. And Trump was also one of the few people that worked with the prosecutors. When he was interviewed about Epstein and um, gave the prosecutors some information about Epstein. One of the few people who did that back at that time. And you notice that The View and all these other mainstream media outlets, they just want, if somebody brings that up, they just talk over them. They don't want people to hear that. They don't want people to hear the truth. So again, I mean, they're just a bunch of hypocrites. Okay, here's another Trump Derangement Syndrome clip.
I'm going to be, on day one, I'm going to be a dictator. Who says it to you, tells you, I'm going to put you people away. I'm going to take all the journalists, I'm going to take all the gay folks, I'm going to move you all around and disappear you. If that's the country you want, you know who to vote for. If that's not the country you want, you have to make a decision.
Scare tactics. That's what they use. And I'm sorry, but many of their Democrat followers listen to that BS. I mean, I kind of talked about this in a video or two ago about the whole Communist Manifesto. It's one of the things that the communists, that's one of their goals, is to deceive people, to just continue to lie to people. And yes, there's Republicans, they lie to their people too all the time. But, like the communists, they use racism. They're famous for it, to use racism to keep people divided. In different class levels, they want those uh, people in society to clash against each other to keep people divided. So to separate them, and hopefully they can usher in communism. We're going to start hearing more and more about the whole communism aspect in the next year here. And it's interesting that Donald Trump, just in the past day or so, made a statement that the communists are finally making their move. And it's very interesting that at this time, around the 4th of July, in the 250th anniversary, that he is saying that. And here's another example of Trump derangement syndrome. Whoopi Goldberg says that Trump is going to break up interracial marriages.
All of you. Talking about you, it's us. He's not going to be, he's not going to, say, oh, you're with a white guy, I'm going to keep you from being deported. No, he's going to deport you and put the white guy with someone else. The man is out there.
He's also,
Just another example. And here's Trump was all over these TV shows. Now, I followed him way back in the 90s when he was a businessman. And he's been very consistent of what he said, of what he wanted this country to be, and what he was not happy with in politics. And he would go on these shows and they would just kiss his ass. They just loved him. So what happened in 2015 to make Hollywood just completely turn against him? Because Trump was in Hollywood movies, he'd be on TV shows, he was on Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, I believe. He was in Home Alone 2, I think. He's on all these different shows, and then all of a sudden, these people just flipped on him. But yeah, he's on the Ellen DeGeneres show there. He's on The View here.
And she likes me. She even put me in her movies.
I was just going to say.
She put me in her movies,
yes,
right?
we
A
are
long time ago.
friends.
And how much did I charge? Nothing.
Like they say in the
It was a freebie. Donnie, I love you. I'm telling you.
And they're trying to humanize him and change your idea about who this guy is. Don't fall for that.
Yeah, they're telling them how they love him and all that, and all of a sudden, now they can't stand him. What happened? I hope someday we hear the story about what really, that there were some crazy conversations in 2014-15, as Trump was running for president. I'd like to hear what was happening behind the scenes. Here's another TDS victim. She's got it bad. I don't know if she's been hospitalized for it, but she needs to be.
I feel like we're living in the reign of terror. Am I the only one here to remember the French Revolution? I mean, I really feel like every day I wake up and he has created more chaos, more misery around the world. The economy is going down the toilet. Gas prices are going through the roof. World economies are suffering.
Now, that's one thing. She's saying gas prices are through the roof, which they're high, but I believe that they're around the same price as when Biden was in office. And now that this Iran war is starting to fade away, and oil prices are dipping down fast, we're going to see gas prices go way down. So if gas prices go down, then the economy booms, and then you're going to have the midterms, and these people are going to the Democrats are going to have some problems because the economy is not going to be doing as bad as they had hoped. So it's going to be interesting.
And we're in the middle of this, and I feel like we're pretty much helpless to do anything because the Republican Party will not stand up to this fall. That's all. I feel like.
Oh, here's some more Joy Behar for you, since you enjoyed that clip.
I'm so tired of Donald Trump. I can barely even talk about him anymore. I am so sick of his stupidity, of his dishonor, of the way he talks about people, the way he, as you said yesterday, the way he presents himself to children out in the world, the way he curses and swears about people, the fact that he's so incompetent at what he does, the fact that these Republicans stick by him no matter what.
The fact that he's grifted so much from the American people.
And you know what? By the way,
dollars.
Where is this Iranian deal? Is it with his college transcripts that we never saw, or his tax returns that we never saw? Why are Americans putting up with this?
Again, they're in this crazy bubble. Oh, and here's, he might be the king of TDS. He's got that disease just flowing through his brains. But here's Robert De Niro.
I'm going to say one thing. Fuck Trump.
And they all clap their hands like a bunch of seals. Good old Hollywood. And that's why people hate these people. They're just a bunch of snobs. So courageous. Yeah. Here's some more Robert De Niro.
Sense, not of joy, but of relief at least, that he's potentially
On News Network MSNBC. Oh, I'm sorry, MS Now.
facing some consequences because, as you've said before, this guy's a con artist and he's gotten away with it for years.
No, he's more than that to me. He's sick. He is really, genuinely a sick person that somehow has been allowed into our system. And I'm tired of calling him names. He just can't be anywhere near the office of the presidency.
You've played a lot of bad guys. Would you ever play Donald Trump?
Never. There's nothing about him. There's not one redeeming thing in him that I can see ever.
See, this whole thing with Trump in office is a nightmare to them because they are losing grip on the narrative. Hollywood wants to help control people, and not in a positive way, in a negative way. And here's some more Robert De Niro for you.
Stupid. He's a punk. He's a dog. He's a pig. He's a con, a bullshit artist, a mutt who does.
Now, notice how they always say how Trump always says horrible things about people, but it's okay for them to say this stuff. So what, you just expect him not to say anything back? You wonder why he'll put out a Truth Social or Twitter post about these people saying these horrible things because of the crap that they've done to him. I'm sorry, it's just a natural response.
Doesn't know what he's talking about, doesn't do his homework, doesn't care, thinks he's gaming society, doesn't pay his taxes. He's an idiot. Colin Powell said it best. He's a national disaster. He's an embarrassment to this country. It makes me so angry that this country has gotten to this point, that this fool, this bozo, has wound up where he has.
Well, De Niro and these Hollywood fools are the embarrassment. And you can see in the ratings, you can see at the box office, because people are no longer going to see these people at the show. They're just tuning them out. They're ridiculous. And then you got the queen of TDS, Rosie O'Donnell.
Trump just arrived at the UFC 296 because he loves Colby Covington. And Leon Edwards, I hope, is going to smash his face in. Because I can't stand Colby Covington, and I can't stand Donald Trump. And the one thing I hate about the UFC is that he ruins it every time he shows up. I mean, come on, Dana White. You got to do better. Really?
And here's Donald Trump sitting with the Ireland, I don't know what prime minister, and Rosie O'Donnell comes up.
Ireland is known for very happy, fun-loving people, great attitude, many in this room right now that I've met. Why in the world would you let Rosie O'Donnell move to Ireland? I think she's going to lower your happipiness level.
Thank you. I like that question.
Mr.
Do you know you have
President,
Rosie O'Donnell?
are you expecting?
Do you know who she is?
Yeah. I'm joking.
You're better off not knowing.
President Trump. Ireland is known
And
for very
you say this stuff and you expect him not
great
to,
attitude,
be negative towards you. And here she is as she kind of breaks down. Let's watch.
I can't even really tell you how unbearably sad it is to know
that
Sorry for the
CBS
close-up.
capitulated and took the bribe and removed Stephen Colbert from TV. I can't tell you how, like, depleting and depressing it is to me, and unfair and un-American. And he's getting more crazy by the day, Donald Trump. By the day.
Mm-hmm.
He announced yesterday in a speech that I say the word dumb. I use the word dumb, and dumb has a B in it. A lot of people don't know that. A lot of people don't know that if they're 7. What's wrong with them? And then he had another speech, and he said, I'm the smartest man you'll ever know.
Because he knows, he says that stuff because he knows that drives you nuts. And you guys are too stupid to realize that. You just keep falling. He's like kind of like Bugs Bunny. You know, he just keeps laying these traps out for these, you know, other characters, and they keep falling for it. And that's what you're doing, Rosie. You're just that dumb with a B.
He's deluded. He's deluded. It's like me saying I'm the thinnest person you've ever seen.
Well, we won't go there.
I don't wear glasses. I am. I'm not wearing glasses. Like, it's crazy. It's completely devoid of reality. That's the issue. And, you know, the sadness to know that he's been getting away with it. And the...
Well, Bugs Bunny got away with it because he outwitted his opponents. And that's what Donald Trump does. You might remember this famous clip.
And disgusting. You've called women you don't like fat pigs, dogs, slobs, and disgusting animals. Your Twitter account...
Only Rosie O'Donnell.
Again, it's witty, though. I mean, because that's not a question that a politician wants to be asked. But it was the truth. Everybody knew that he had said something about Rosie. So, but he had the crowd erupt in laughter saying that.
Your Twitter account?
And even Megyn Kelly knows it too. She's like, that was a good one. So I guess I can understand why Rosie kind of got upset with him. But Rosie was attacking him before Trump made this famous statement back in 2015. And here's more Rosie O'Donnell
in New
for
York,
you because you just can't have enough.
But you've never been afraid to use your voice and speak out, which I really commend about you.
If you grew up in New York, you knew he was an asshole and a liar from day one.
Here we go.
And I am 64 years.
It's okay for them to do the name calling, but not us. Because, like they say, if they go low, we go high. Yeah, because that's going high. These people are total hypocrites. I don't get why some voters don't see this.
Sold in my whole life here. So I remember when his planes were repossessed off the runways at LaGuardia. I remember when he was broke. I remember when he would call up places and pretend to be his own publicist. He is a con man, he is a narcissist, and he is a psychopath, if you ask me.
How do you think he'll be greeted at MSG tomorrow night?
With a lot of booze, and I'm happy to hear it.
Yeah, blah, blah, blah. And we'll end this video with stuff that I never heard come out of Joe Biden's mouth. All I heard was like satanic stuff coming out of his mouth. But we'll finish this video on this note. And again, thanks for watching. Please like and share so we can get these videos out to people. I'm making a lot of short videos on different political events, conspiracy theories, different topics. So please like, share, and subscribe to everybody you know. And thanks again for watching. And we'll finish this video up with Donald Trump talking about something very important.
With God, all things are possible. With God, all things are possible, right? All things. That's why as we prepared to enter the 250th year last month, tens of thousands of patriots came together on our National Mall, and we officially rededicated America as one nation under God. And we're not changing. We're not changing. With God, all things are possible. With God, all things are possible, right?